was gonna rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from their cloth. There's no one that can match me.
No affiliation, why they faking? This ain't for debating. We the real, ain't really imitation. I be contemplating why this ain't no like heavy rotation on radio stations. I just pray the Lord give me patience, cause I'm running through these rappers like my name Walter Payton. Shitting on these rappers, 9 to 5 is my occupation. Raw, you come in with your best troops, you best bring more. Already told you I got the juice like a Renthal. Already know what I'm about to do, bet your men fall. Everyone know that we got the truth, all your men falls. So lost, overtaking our enemies. Moves calculated and orchestrated like symphonies. Smooth operated when bringing haters to misery. Top 5 list ain't shit unless you mention me. Yeah, that's why we don't associate. Fuck niggas making more fuck niggas. Why they procreate? Why they overhate? Cause their time is short and a moment late. Let it culminate to they harder race and impotent. Cowards perpetrate like they little group is respectable. Talking intellectual. All of you homosexuals, faggots.
There's no one like me. I'm from their cloth. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his
I
children.
don't want to congregate. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to fellowship. I ain't trying to build with you. Ain't the UPK, ain't the truth. Keep it real with you. Defenders of the faith, I got no problem bumping heads with you. All that bullshit, you can take it over there with you. Rather be a houseboy. Rather run with them field niggas. Show them to put in work. Move mountain, crush hills, nigga. Take a dead soul. Breathe life and make it live, nigga. No affiliation, so it's no one to compare with us. Took the Lord's laws and just added it with fear, nigga. Ain't for the body, cause you know that killer hit quicker. With these bars, I'm on my grizzly, so bear witness. You spit cold, I spit flu. Don't compare sickness. You floss diamond, I floss French. Don't compare dentist. You PK, we men the war shit. We ain't Christian. Harm one of us. Get pistol whipped like the gun got a belt with it. I'm bred different. The competition just a mill. I'm fed different. I stood front line on them fields. I bled different. I'd rather be a corpse than a coward. I'm led different. Shit, I'm led different. Come through like a juggernaut, so don't get in the way. And we take everything serious. We don't play. I wonder now what they gonna say. Shit, we make profits all the shooters like the NBA. You get slayed for switching sides, nigga. We ain't on the same page. Immaculate conception. These niggas bitch made. I'm sticking with the foundation where my bricks laid. You switch sides, I'd rather switch caves. You was never with us, nigga. Just know we on mission, nigga. Right hand hold the scriptures, nigga. Left hip hold the pistol, nigga. How you want it? You can get it spiritual or physics, nigga. Wrong ones to come against, so bring an army with you. No affiliation. When you see us, make the difference with us. No affiliation. When you see us, know we different, nigga. No affiliation, so no, you can't kick it with us. The wrong ones to come against, bring an army with you. I ain't at the die to meet the devil. Angels fell and landed in the ghetto. The earth was given to the hands of devils. And we seen the rise of the devil. We fell for the lies of the devil. When we got high was the devil. I looked into the eyes of the devil. I ain't at the die to meet the devil. I remember I was only 13 when I met the demon. Gave me a deuce and a bundle of cocaine. Told me to sell to my people, make sure you keep them fiending. If any try to show you, make sure that you leave them leaking. He said, I'ma hold you down when problems pop up. How you got me moving this dope? Want me in lock up? He said, don't you want the Benz vertible with the top cut? Yeah. Stop, bitch. Get in that kitchen. Let it rock up. Bitches love the dope boy, especially when it's swap up. I know you know Ron. You the plug from by the block up? I'll tell you a little secret. Make sure that you keep your mouth shut. Ron got a Lexus, crib in Philly and Texas. Trips to the Bahamas, just got a whip for his mama. He's fucking up in commas. Be honest, he seen decent dope. I hear you, but I just seen Ron about a week ago. Fat, he ain't looking too good. His knees is kind of slow. I asked him why the struggle. He got stuck up for his bundle, but them 6 hollow chips in his legs what made him crumble. At least he got a house and mama is living good. said the feds took it all, he right back in the hood. I see you try to play me, you gave us crack in the 80s. Made us support our babies and making hoes out our ladies. I know you got me gravy, but Satan, you must be crazy. It's gonna take more than them cars when to amaze me. I seen niggas shoot for the stars, but being lazy. Never get their head at the clouds, so you don't faze me. I guarantee that you gon' regret it. Remember I said it. No, you could dead it. What you saying? I can't win? No, devil, nice try. So until we meet again, I ain't have to die to meet the devil. Angels fell and landed in the ghetto. The earth was given to the hands of devils, and we seen the rise of the devil. We fell for the lies of the devil. When we got high was the devil. I looked into the eyes of the devil. I ain't have to die to meet the devil. I ain't religious or superstitious, but we've been getting fucked and put to the side like a mistress. Police patrolling why? Because prison became a business. They murder one of ours and they start talking about forgiveness. We think that it's alright because we got public assistance. If this ain't hell, dog, what is this? Where was all lives mattered when they killed Osama? There was no peace talk like the Dalai Lama. Bush dropping bombs saying he gon' bring the drama. They got justice, man, they even caught the Boston bomber. But when we ride, they send the military in armor. When we fight oppression, then our people die martyr. You reap what you sow, some people call it karma. When Christ return, y'all gon' get this harvest like a farmer. Don't tell me don't bring up the past no more. They still trying to settle the score with a side of Shakur. I changed my life and I'm just trying to live life right. But at night I look behind me and see flashing lights, patting me down. You got nothing that's poking me right. I don't smoke or push pills, I gave up my vice. So Mr. Officer, why you wanna take my life? And your honor, why you gave our homeboy's life? I've been wondering why you shot our homeboy twice. Pussy with a gun screaming out that he got a knife. He came from Habibi's spot, it was chicken and rice. Shit's tripe, I'm just giving visuals like Skype. As Trayvon, Mike Brown, a cock girly, Eric Garner, Sean Bell, Philando, Alden, Sterling, Jaquan McDonald. The white man is so devilish. Ask Hammurabi, he'll tell you who the devil is. The white man is so devilish. Ask Hammurabi, he'll tell you who the devil is. I ain't have to die to meet the devil. Angels fell and landed in the ghetto. The earth was given to the hands of devils, and we seen the rise of the devil. We fell for the lies of the devil. When we got high was the devil. I looked into the eyes of the devil. I ain't have to die to meet the devil. I ain't have to die to meet the devil. Angels fell and landed in the ghetto. The earth was given to the hands of devils, and we seen the rise of the devil. I pray for the demise of the devil. Lord knows I despise every devil. I looked into the eyes of the devil. He said, I pray you die, every devil.
My whole life was trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, so packed, I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak.
Now I'm setting fire to rhythm man blues, boy, this guitar smoke. Rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Feel like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good break. Sometimes a follower is a soldier, trying to find a good ship. Plus when you in hell, how did you excel? With them the breath of life, I believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain. Something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord? Got a tongue like a two-edged sword, with a style that they might just record. The only thing equal is the curse for the wicked and the righteous reward. Have mercy on them and they don't see it. Separated from the tares. Now on my prayers and it's so be it. A rebel, take the world by word of mouth. UPK, we the rebels that you heard about. Yeah. And it ain't gonna stop till 100 virgins in the house and I'm handing verdicts out. Get rank, you ain't heard a clout without a shadow of a doubt. These devils hitting licks off us. Fuck the bank, I'm about to stone the pocket ticket off us. Can't squeak off us, cannot stop us. And plus I know the feds watch us. I'm telling people that they church full of witch doctors. Put us in prison, they stop violence. Meanwhile, UPK turning rebels into rock wallers. In league with mighty men, and now I understand things that never truly made sense. Like why I'm crying at this funeral for a criminal, knowing he ain't innocent. It's fucked up. But my boot shot, standing between two priests, about to blaze on their ass, call it tough love. Look out for niggas just club, and wouldn't touch a white bitch with OJ's black gloves. Father, forgive me for my error. I'm forever by your side, clean and purge me of all my flaws. This the reason I'm alive. Thank God for this truth, cause for a long time was a rebel without a cause. Look, man, first time I met manager YAHANNA, man, hit 3807. Rebel without a cause. My little daughter with me. Open the door, he was dropping the truth for me and all that. Rebel without a cause. Yeah, man, you know, you do your time, we're taking them out and training in hand-to-hand combat. Rebel without a cause, it's the reason I'm alive. Thank God for this truth, cause for a long time was a rebel without a cause. You cannot move us. We're already dead. We're already beaten down. We've been beaten down for 400 years. We already got the wounds inside and outside our bodies. How you gonna hurt us? You cannot threaten us. You cannot frighten us. We live in the most frightening places, under the most frightening conditions. We are immune to fear. We are immune to harm. You see what I'm saying? You have stepped into a cesspool. You're the only one gonna get infected.
Shalom, shalom. I'm Officer Shariwan, priest and Officer Shariwan, the I.S.U.P.K. Started out of 1 West Harlem, 125th Street, New York.
Hey, shalom,
Brotherhood. Shalom, Slakia. Can you hear me okay?
Khan, I can hear you. I'm using, can you hear me?
You have a problem with your sound, or you're on mute.
Okay, Khan. Salakia, can you hear me?
Yeah, today's Tuesday night Brotherhood class. We're just teaching Brotherhood's a weapon. And tonight's topic, we're going to get into a bit of the nonsense that goes on in our community, with how the women are presenting themselves.
Salakia,
black household.
Salakia, can you hear me?
That's happening in it. All the divorce, the single women, broken families. These are things that we're trying to correct and fix in the I.S.U.P.K. And we're using the Bible to do it. We're studying the Bible. We're going deep into the Bible. And if you haven't heard it before, the I.S.U.P.K, the men in the I.S.U.P.K are the only men authorized to teach this Bible. only ones authorized to teach this Bible. Let's get started. We're going to start in 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. All right, real brotherhood. Part of brotherhood is correction. Actually, let me grab that verse.
Shalom, Matt. Can you hear me? Officer Shay One, can you hear me? Okay.
Hey, shalom, Mark.
Shalom, Matt. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you.
Shalom, Matt. Can you hear me? Shay One, can you hear me?
Yeah, part of brotherhood's correction. A part of loving your brothers and your sisters is correction. This is Leviticus 19 and verse 17. And it reads, Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Right? It's in our law to correct our brothers and sisters.
Salakia, can you hear me?
Still can't hear you.
God damn.
You might have your mic on mute. Part of brotherhood is we got to correct our brothers. We got to correct our sisters, right? Today we're getting into our sisters, right? The black man's destroyed, the black woman's destroyed, the black household's destroyed. And nobody wants to come up against these black women, right? Nobody but the men in the I.S.U.P.K. And the reason we do that is because we love our sisters, right? We're willing to correct our sisters, even if they want to cuss at us, yell at us, they don't want to hear it, right? No black woman today wants to be corrected. And a part of that issue, it comes from everybody's telling the black woman that she's a god, right? Everybody's putting the black woman on a pedestal. Nobody wants to tell her what she's doing wrong, right? So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. It says, But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, right? The head of every man is Christ. That's a parable for saying, when it says you have a head, that means you have a covering. You have somebody over you, right? And that parable is if, what they would say in old times is if you lose your head, if you get beheaded, you lose your life, right? Somebody takes your head, you're dead. You have no life. And that's part of what that's exactly what this is talking about. It says, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
Salakia. Shalom, can you hear me?
Christ is my head. Everything Christ says, I do. Right? That's about rank and order. Right? To all you men out there, you got to follow Christ. You have to obey Christ. And if you're walking around without a head, you're dead. If you're walking around without a covering, there's no life in you. There's nobody there to guide you. Nobody there to lead you, correct you, tell you when you're doing something wrong. Right? I know growing up, I can't name how many of my friends, they were looking for some kind of black father figure, someone to look up to, right? Someone to learn from, someone to help guide them, teach them, correct them. Because me and like a lot of other brothers, we grew up without a father figure, right? And that's not to put blame on our fathers, right? That's just to say that the black household is destroyed. There's a lot of black men looking for a covering, looking for someone to lead them, guide them, right?
Shalom, shalom. Can you hear me? Shalom.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ. And the head of the woman is the man, right? Men got to follow the rules. As a righteous man in the I.S.U.P.K, I follow order. When a man above me tells me to do something, it's kanada wan kan. Sir, yes, sir. And you say that because these are the men here to protect you, right? I grab a precept for that. This is Hebrews 13 and verse 17. It says, obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls, as they that must give an account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you. Right? As a man in the I.S.U.P.K, there's men over me, and they're here to watch over my soul. Right? They're here to help guide me and protect me. Make sure that I'm keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. So if you're a woman, it says the head of the woman is the man. You're a woman, you got to take orders. You have to submit yourself to a righteous man. Submit yourself to a man who submits to Christ. Because this man is here to watch over your soul. He is here to help give you life, to guide you, protect you, correct you. And the head of Christ is God. Christ follows God. Right? This is talking about rank and order. If you're a woman and you don't want to follow a man, you have a problem with rank and order, you have a problem with discipline, taking orders, you're going to be destroyed. How many women today are walking around saying, I don't want to listen to no man. No man's above me.
Shalakia, can you hear me okay?
Right? That's such a stupid statement to make.
Salakia, can you hear me?
Right? And we know where that comes from. That comes from the devil.
Yo, Salakia, can you hear me?
That serpent of old, the devil who was in the garden, who deceived Eve.
Yo,
Right?
Salakia,
That's
can
the
you hear
same
me?
nonsense going on today. Trying to tell a woman that she doesn't have to listen to anybody. A man is here to guide you, protect you, love you. Your father is here to guide you, protect you, love you, correct you, teach you. Your father says don't do something. Your father says don't put a fork or a knife in an electrical socket. Don't do it. It's not a bad thing. Right? He's trying to protect you.
Salakia, can you hear me? Share one.
To everyone following along, just hold 1 Corinthians 11. I'm going to get a precept in Luke 22.
What's
Luke
up?
22, and I'll start at verse 41. This is talking about Christ. And he was withdrawn from them about a stone's cast, and kneeled down and prayed. Verse 42, saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Right? Yahawashi, who the world calls Jesus, or who the world calls Christ, he was praying to the Father because the task he had in front of him was a hard task. Right? He got on his knees and prayed and said, if thou will remove this cup from me, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. Right? Like I said, a lot of you women don't want to listen to a man. But Christ, he wasn't complaining to God. He wasn't nagging God. He wasn't crying about the task that he had in front of him. He was praying for strength, right? He was praying for endurance. He let his Father know the task that's in front of me, it's a hard task, but I'm going to listen, right? Don't be grieving your husband or your father when he tells you to do something, right? There's something more important that you can't see. He's telling you to do it for a reason. He's giving you correction or guidance or a task for a reason, right? Verse 43 says, and there appeared an angel unto him from heaven, strengthening him. Christ obeyed the Most High. He obeys the Most High. That's why he's our king. He listens. He follows him. And as a righteous man, it's my job, it's my duty to follow Christ. As a woman, as a righteous woman, a virtuous woman, which you should be trying to be, you need to be following your husband. You need to be listening to your husband. He's your head. He's in charge of your life. He's in charge of guiding you, giving you life. That was 1 Corinthians 11:3. We're going to drop that. Let's get into 1 Peter 1. 1 Peter 1 and verse 13. First Peter 1, chapter 1. Verses 13, we're going to go to verse 16.
Hey, Shalom, Mac. Can you hear me okay now?
Hey, shalom, man.
Are you able to hear me?
Still can't hear you.
Damn. I don't know what's going on. I'm using the phone.
So this is 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 13. And it says, Wherefore, gird up the loins of your mind. Right, what does it mean to gird up your loins?
Salakia, can you hear
Today
me?
we would say, grab your nuts.
Salakia.
Right? Or get your shit together. Get yourself in order. Right? Prepare yourself. There's a
Yo,
task
can
in
you hear
front
me?
of you that you got to complete. Now's not the time to complain or cry. You got to complete the task. It says, gird up the loins of your mind, right? Get your mind together. Get your mind right. Be sober and hope to the end
Yeah.
for the
Can you hear me?
grace that is to be brought unto you at the
Salakia, can
revelation
you
of
hear me?
Yahushua. Verse 14, as obedient children, right? Like I have one of my kids, right? When I tell him to do something, it's yes, daddy, right? Kana one Khan, daddy. If I tell him to go to his room, it's yes, daddy. One of my kids, right? He's an obedient child. He listens. Tell him to do something.
Yo, shalom.
Right? This is what you women have to do to your husband. Right? Be obedient to him. Submit yourself to him. Yes, daddy. Right? He's an obedient child. Get your mind right. Get your mind in order. Prepare yourself for a task when he gives you one. And do it to the best of your ability. He's your head. He's the man that's over you.
All right, shalom.
Protect and guide you. Verse 14, as obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lusts in your ignorance, right? You're a woman who's learning, trying to be a virtuous woman, right? Being born again, renewing your mind, changing the way you think, changing the way you act. You gotta submit yourself to a man. And all the ways that you used to think, you gotta throw all that stuff out. You gotta be obedient, right? In the world, you said, I'm not gonna listen to no man. But Christ is telling you your head is your husband. You can't bring that thinking into a marriage and think it's gonna last. Verse 15. But as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation, because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy. You're a woman from one of the 12 tribes of Israel. You're holy. You're set apart. You're different. You're more capable. When your husband gives you an order, right, complete that task as a holy woman, as a set apart woman, right? One of the sayings in the world, white man can't jump, right? No white man is going to out jump me. No white man is going to beat me in a sports game. I'm not going to let it happen because I'm holy. I'm different. I'm set apart, right? An Edomite in the world loses his girlfriend and he wants to go shoot up a church, right? His mind is weak. Our people did 400 years of slavery and we're still here today, right? No Edomite could go through slavery, the oppression that we've been through. His mind is weak. Her mind is weak, right? We got to complete these tasks as holy people. We have to prepare ourselves to complete these tasks, right? As obedient children. And when your husband's trying to protect you from something, he's trying to guide you, right? Don't grieve him. Don't eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil like Eve did, right? She learned what punishment felt like. She learned what judgment felt like. When it says she was naked in the garden, she was ashamed. Her father could see her. She felt shame because of what she did. Right? You get in a fight with your husband over something, and you're trying to order him around, telling him to do something. He doesn't like it, so you say, "Oh, I'm gonna go sleep with another man to get his attention." Or I don't like the way this relationship's going, so you're gonna run out and do something stupid. As a man, I'm gonna tell you, don't do that. That's one of the dumbest decisions you could make. I can't control you. I can't stop you from doing it. But I'm gonna tell you that's not gonna fix our relationship. Now, as a woman, you go out and do something like that, you're going to learn good and evil. You're going to learn punishment. You're going to feel shamed because you're going to call your husband back in a couple weeks and say you messed up because you couldn't see a couple steps ahead. You were too simple to see the devastation of your actions. Right? That's a real thing. That happens in our community. Right? But as a man or as a woman, you have a head over you. Everything he says goes. Right? We're gonna pull that precept up later, but when he speaks to you, that's like the word of God speaking to you. Yahweh is the head of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is the head of a man. The man is the head of a woman. You got to submit yourselves to that man. You got to submit yourselves to that man. Right? Humble down and obey that man. Let's get Ephesians 5. Ephesians 5 in chapter 21. Ephesians 5 and 21 says, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. Right? This is brotherhood. This is sisterhood. We got to submit ourselves to one another in the fear of God. Verse 22, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. Like I brought up before, to submit yourself is to humble down and obey. To submit yourselves is to humble down and obey. Right? As unto the Lord. Right? Your husband is your master. Your husband is your Adawan, your Lord. He is over you. There to protect you, guide you, correct you, lead you, teach you. This is the responsibility of a man. Right? And just a little off topic. Nowhere in the Bible are you going to see a law against getting a second wife. Right? There's nothing wrong with getting multiple wives. King David had multiple wives. He was a righteous man. Right? There's laws regarding how we treat our children. Or the children of our multiple wives. Right? To make sure that the eldest gets his inheritance, regardless of if we have a favorite wife or one we like over the next. Right? If you're a loudmouth woman and as a man you have a second wife, he's probably going to prefer the woman who's quiet, who's silent, who submits to him. But that law says you can't give that inheritance to that wife that you prefer. Right? There's no law in the Bible that says you can't have more than one wife. But men, we have to understand that a wife is a responsibility. And that's the point I wanted to bring up. As a woman who submits herself to a husband, that man has a responsibility over you. Right? He has a job now. He has a duty. He has something he has to do until death. Right? He's not allowed to throw you away. He's not allowed to divorce you. He can't get rid of you. He has to teach you, guide you, protect you, die for you. And this is the kind of man that you want to submit yourself to. Man that's not going to lie to you and throw you away. Right? You want a man that's going to protect you. I saw a post. I saw a funny post on Facebook. And it was how do you put it? There's a woman saying that she doesn't need no man or doesn't want no man. Right? Watch her in the middle of a snowstorm trying to clean her car off or shovel her driveway. Right? All that's out the window. Right? As a righteous man, you have to honor that woman as a weaker vessel. Getting a wife is a responsibility. It's not something to be taken lightly. You got to know this Bible. You got to know these laws, statutes, and commandments. You have to know how to protect her. Right? There's so much evil going on in this world. So much oppression going on in our people. As a man, you have to know how to protect her from that. Right? On that topic, right? Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Chromas, right? These women, they don't have a man protecting them. Right? These women are getting caught up in so much nonsense because they don't have a man to protect them from it. Every hustler, every pimp, everyone's going to tell her everything to gas her head up. Right? And next you know, she's dressing half naked, singing some stupid songs. Right? It's destroying our communities. Hey, Shalom, Mark. You got that mic fixed? Nope. All right, no sweat. Yeah, as a man, it's our job to care
God,
for these women.
God. Salakia, can you hear me, Cherry One?
That's the kind of man that you want to submit yourself to. That's the kind of man that you want to obey. If I have a daughter and I'm teaching her, I'm raising her up as her head, as a man above her, as a man here to protect her and guide her, I'm going to tell her, do not get married. Do not marry a man that is not in the I.S.U.P.K. Do not marry a man who does not submit himself to Christ. Because if you do, that is the man you are with until you die. Right? That is what hell is. You're worried about a man beating you up, tying you up, controlling you, abusing his authority. Right? You submit yourself to a selfish man, one who's not willing to die for you. That's hell. I would never tell my daughter to do that. I'm going to give her to a man who submits himself to Christ. Because a man that submits himself to Christ understands that he has a responsibility over you. It's not something to be taken lightly. Right? All right, verse 21. Verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. Like I said, that's the voice of God over you. Right? It's not a scary thing. He submits himself to Christ. Christ submits himself to Yahweh. Nobody loves you more than Yahweh. Right? He chose you as a daughter of Zion. He chose you to be special unto himself. You're the apple of his eye. Knows all the hairs on your head. He fashioned you. He created you. Nobody loves you more than Yahweh. Nobody's going to love you more than the men in the I.S.U.P.K. Men that submit themselves to Christ. Verse 23. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church. Right again, wives, submit yourselves to your husband. Right? Don't do it with an attitude. Don't grieve that man. Don't nag that man. Humble yourself down and obey him. Don't question everything that he tells you to do. All right? Where are we going to? We'll go to verse 24. Therefore, as Christ, or Slakia, verse 23, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church. And he is the savior of the body. Right? Like I said, if you lose your head, you lose your life. Right? You lose your head, you lose your life. Now, husband's there to give you life. He's there to save your body. He's there to watch over you. Don't grieve that man. Verse 24. Therefore, as a church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Everything. I think it's in Ecclesiasticus 26. It says, he who gets a wife begins a possession. Right? That man, you are that man's possession. You belong to that man. Everything you have belongs to that man. You had a car before you met him, that car is his. You had $10,000 in your bank account before you met him, that money's his. Right? In everything. So let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Right? You got to be subject to him in everything. And like I said, you submit yourself to a righteous man, he's going to make good use of that money. He's going to make good use of that car. He's going to do something real. Right? We're going to jump into 1 Timothy chapter 2. Let's see. 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 11. Like I said, a lot of you women, you're not going to want to hear this. And that's part of what this devil has been doing to our women. Right? He's gassing your head up so big, telling you you're God. Just like he did in the garden. So when you walk around, you think your opinion means something. Right? Like, you got a friend, you got a best friend, and you ask that friend for advice on a relationship. And that friend, she's been divorced 3 times. Right? She's damn near wrote 50 books on relationships. Everything that comes out of her mouth is gold. She tells you what you should do in your relationship, right? You would think you would think she's Yahweh herself. She wrote the manual to life. She wrote the manual to relationships. Right? That's what a lot of women are going around thinking. That they've done a new thing, or they've thought of a new great idea that nobody in the world has ever thought of. Like, what they have to say is something special. The only real knowledge of this world is what's in this Bible. Right? Yahweh created heaven and earth. He created all men, all beasts, all living things, all the land, water, and everything in it. Right? He gave the manual to life. Nobody knows what's going to fix black marriages better than Yahweh. Nobody knows how a marriage should work better than Yahweh. Nobody knows how we should carry ourselves better than Yahweh. And this is why this verse is so hard for some women. It says, verse 11, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. And the verse explains itself. Learn in silence in everything. Right? Like Christ's disciples are telling you, women, shut your mouth. Stop talking. It's a biblical thing. Keep your mouth shut. From Genesis to Revelation, you're going to see it 100 times. Stop talking. Study to be quiet. Study to ask questions. Learn to close your mouth. Proverbs 17 and 28. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, even a fool, when he keeps his mouth shut, is counted wise. He that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. Shut up. Nobody wants to listen to a loudmouth woman. James 1 and 19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. Women, keep your mouths shut. Commanding General YAHANNA and every man underneath him, we love black women because we tell them to shut up, stop talking. If you're a woman who's married and he's telling you to keep your mouth shut, that is a man that loves you. Don't let your emotions get in the way of you learning. Don't let your emotions get in the way of you growing. Having a healthy relationship or a healthy marriage. Right? Everyone in the world is telling the black woman she's God. What she has to say is something important. This is why it's so hard for women to learn to shut your mouth. 1 Timothy 2 in verse 12 says, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. I'm curious to know how female Christian pastors break this verse down. Shoot, I grew up, two of the main churches I went to had female pastors. Right? You go there, you sing for an hour, dance for a half hour, then listen to her run her mouth for the next 40 minutes about how she feels, bringing out every verse in the Bible that talks about emotions. Right? The Lord is a man of war. Yahweh is his name. Yahweh is all about militancy. Yahushua, he was an austere man, a militant man, a disciplined man, a rough man, a tough man. When he said something, you do it. When Yahweh says something, you do it. Right? Verse 12, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. Women, you got to close your mouths. You got to do it. If you want to be a virtuous woman, a righteous woman, shut your mouth. Be quiet. Nothing you have to say is of importance. Close your mouth. Right? There's women who claim to be in the truth, and they're talking about how hard it is to stop celebrating Thanksgiving. Right? Is that a woman that's supposed to lead us? Supposed to teach us? Right? A woman says, I want to keep celebrating Thanksgiving because of all the memories I had of being with my family. I don't really care about Thanksgiving or celebrating it, Ray-Tay-Tay, but I just have all the memories of my family and gathering and this and that. It's not a big deal that we keep Thanksgiving. Is it really a sin? Right. Meanwhile, this holiday was about the death of the native Indians. It's about the murder, the massacre, the murder of God's chosen people. And you want to talk about how it's okay to celebrate Thanksgiving? That's a disgusting thing. No woman needs to be teaching, nor to be usurping authority over, right? But be in silence. Again, close your mouth. Your emotions have nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with his Bible. Shalom, officers, everybody.
Shalom, Ak. Yahbashim Yashabrakatha.
Oh,
You want
Salaki, I
it
can't
right now.
hear
I
you.
was gonna wait for you to stop talking.
Something wrong with my audio.
Shalom, I can hear you loud and clear.
Khan. Shalom, Ak. Yahbashim
Okay,
Yashabrak.
Khan.
Shalom,
Hey,
Ak.
Shalom, Yad. I can hear you good too, Yad.
Khan.
Salaki, where were we? Let's get officers about you. Could you grab Proverbs 9 and 13 for me?
Khan, Ak.
Right. So again, women, you got to keep your mouth shut. Be a virtuous woman. Keep your mouth shut. Learn from your husband.
You want Proverbs 9 and 13?
Kana, whenever you got it.
I got it right now. Proverbs 9 and 13. A foolish woman is clamorous. She
Damn.
is simple.
Salaki, read that again.
A foolish woman is clamorous.
A foolish woman is clamorous. A foolish woman makes a lot of noise. Right?
Right.
Keep reading.
She is simple and knoweth nothing.
Damn. A woman who makes a lot of noise is simple. What's simple? Simple is like 1 + 1 = 2. That's something simple, something easy to understand, right? This verse is saying a woman who's loud, she's simple. It's hard for her to understand what 1 + 1 is. Right? She's
Salakia.
Come on, go ahead.
It's hard for her it's hard for her to understand not to spend all of the money on Christmas gifts when there's damn near no food in your house, or not to buy your little child Michael Jordan's J's when you don't own a house, right? These children be running around these ghettos, and they be running around Jane and Finch, Lawrence Heights, Regent Park, Scarborough, wearing all types of what they would call drip, living in community housing.
Khan, that's exactly it. I know I saw a stat somewhere. It's about what is it? Women make most of the majority of the purchasing decisions in the household today. Right? That's a lot of what these businesses and companies are advertising to. They're all advertising to women. Right? Telling her she needs this in the house, she needs that in the house, she needs this and that. And you have a righteous man over you, right? He's gonna tell you, look, don't get that. We have other things we gotta buy. We have other things to focus on right now. But a woman who's clamorous, she can't see that. She's too busy talking. She's too busy worrying about her emotions, making noise. She can't see 2-3 steps in front of her, right? She's simple.
Right.
Officer Urad, are you there?
Khan,
Come on, Most High in Christ. Salaki, can you grab Ecclesiastes 7 and 26 for me? We're going to read to verse 28.
Khan. Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 26. Salakia. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 26. And it reads, and I find more bitter than death the woman
Right,
whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands.
right. I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets. Right? This woman's a trap. And if you're an unrighteous man, you deserve that. You see a woman walking down the street half naked, and you try to make her your wife, right? That's a trap.
Right.
Right? This is something more bitter than death. You end up marrying a whore? Oh, good luck. Good luck to you. Trying to follow her around, see where she's going at night. Watching her text messages, this and that.
Right. That Salakia. That is a terrible fate and a terrible life to live, like where you gotta go and check your woman's cell phone, see who she's talking to.
Right. Right. And that's what unrighteous men deserve. Right? You're gonna find a woman who's more bitter than that. Right? You're gonna end up paying child support for 20 years and spousal support because you decided to marry a whore.
Right.
Shoot, there's some brothers who are in jail right now because they came home to their wife smashing another man. Right? Like that woman's a trap. Slack, you keep reading? Officer, you're you there?
Khan.
John, keep reading.
Khan. Let's see here. And her hands as bands. Whoso please God shall escape. Salakia. Whoso pleaseth God shall escape from her. But the sinner shall be taken by her.
Right. Like I said, you're a sinner, you're an unrighteous man, you're going to be taken by that woman. Right? You join I.S.U.P.K, you're going to taught how to be a righteous man. You're going to be taught how to please Yahweh. If you learn to please Yahweh, you're gonna escape this trap. Keep reading.
Behold, this have I found, says the preacher, counting one by one to find out the account.
Read.
Verse 28. So, verse 28, which yet my soul seeketh, and I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found.
Right. Like, it's a hard thing to find a righteous man. Right? We know that in the I.S.U.P.K. Just trying to find one man who's going to rise up and do the will of the Father. It's a hard thing. Right? These brothers right beside me, right? These are righteous men. Not a lot of us. And he's saying, but a woman among all those have I not found. Good luck finding a righteous woman. Right?
Come on.
Good luck finding a righteous woman.
Salakia,
Khan, go ahead.
this is one of my Salakia, if I could, right?
Khan.
Salakia, this is one of my my scriptures, my go-to scriptures about how, like you're saying. So you're making a heavy point. I mean, it's tough to find a man, you know, in like the scripture is saying, like it's tough to. I mean, there's one man that is found among 1,000, right? Like you're saying, like it's tough to find a righteous man out there, man. If you're not in the I.S.U.P.K, you know, if you're not in the truth, if you're not with this body, man, you're not following. And like you said, like I mean, and that just proves it right there as well. Like I'm saying, one in 1,000, there's one righteous man, but in 1,000, there's not one righteous woman.
Damn.
So it's like, damn, it's like that's a heavy statement. Salakia,
Right.
Salakia.
Yeah, it's hard for a woman to humble down. Right? It's hard for a woman to keep her mouth shut. Right? With all this wickedness on the earth, right? Gassing her head up. Like it's hell for a woman without a head. It's hell for a woman without protection.
Right.
Right? It's so important. If you find a righteous man, hold on to him. You find a righteous man, keep your mouth shut. Be his peace. Be his pillar of rest. Right? This man's going to protect you from all that wickedness on the earth. Officer Zabadia, could you grab 1 Corinthians 14 for me? And Officer Yarad, could you hold Proverbs 31 and 10?
Hold on.
Salakia, you wanted 1 Corinthians?
1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 34.
Hold on, one moment, let me get it. 13 and 34.
Kana.
First Corinthians 14 and 34. Let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law.
Right. Obedience is to follow without question, not arguing with your man, right? Not running your mouth all the goddamn time, right? Don't go on Facebook asking another man to break down scripture for you, right?
Right.
Embarrassing your husband like that. This righteous man that you submit yourself to, he's taught from the men above him, right? He's taught to teach this word. Go on Facebook and ask another man for a breakdown on the Bible. Right? Don't embarrass your husband like that. He knows the Bible. He's studying. Right? Let your woman keep silence in the church, for it is not permitted unto them to speak. Right? Go to your husband and learn this Bible. Go to your husband and learn how to be a righteous woman. Right? Don't be in the church running your mouth every goddamn way. Right? Close your mouth. Officer Urad, go ahead with Proverbs.
Proverbs 21, verse 10.
Salakia, Proverbs 31 and verse 10.
Salakia, Proverbs 31. Proverbs 31 and verse 10. And it reads, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies.
All right. Like I was saying in Ecclesiastes 7, it's damn near impossible to find a righteous woman. But this is what we got to be looking for. As righteous men in the I.S.U.P.K, we got to be looking for a virtuous woman. Right? So we don't get caught up in those traps. We'll get caught up in child support, married an adulterer. Right? We marry a righteous woman. Right? We'll be able to accomplish so many things. I'll get to that precept in a bit, but a woman's supposed to be a pillar of rest. She's supposed to be your peace. Right? Yahweh gave us a suitable helpmeet. We're set apart. We're holy. We're different. We're more capable of doing anything than any other nation on earth. Right? We're gods walking among men. And we were given a suitable helpmeet. You got a righteous woman, you'll be able to accomplish so many things. I got a video I'm going to bring out. Let's see if this works. Yeah, just a quick video I'm going to bring out.
be handsome. You gotta have pretty feet. You gotta be a family man. You gotta be financially stable. You gotta be rich. You gotta be. But here's another challenge.
Slakia, can you guys hear and see the video?
Come on, Doc.
All right, most fine, Chris.
We got all these things we want in a man. A list of things. He gotta be dark. He gotta be handsome. He gotta have pretty feet. He gotta be a family man. He gotta be financially stable. He gotta be rich. He gotta be successful. He gotta all these things. And we ain't even had things on that list. He gotta be a family man. You talk to your mama in 6 months, but you want him to be a family man. He gotta be financially stable. You're counting this in the negative, man. Overdraft fee. He gotta have a job. You need to go fill out some applications because you're still unemployed. You gotta have pretty teeth. You ain't seen a dentist in 6 years. You gotta have a six-pack and be in shape. You can't even walk up a flight of stairs without huffing and puffing. Get your life together. This whole list that he gotta be. You ain't even half the things on that list. So this is what I challenge you to do. So we can manifest love all 2021. Make that list the perfect dream man that you got in your mind. Then, what I did, make a list of the type of woman he would need right by his side. You want him to be in shape? You need to get to the gym. Equally yoked. You want him to be financially stable? Well, you need to start saving because you can't keep a dime to your name. Huh? You want him to be a family man? Come on, mama. You become a family. Heal your trauma. You want him to be patient. Patience is thin. You want him to be understanding. You're the least understanding person in your circle of friends, but he gotta be understanding. Fix you. Fix you. Whatever you want, become that. He gotta be in shape. Eat chips every day.
Salakia, did you guys hear and see that okay? Did you hear what she was saying?
Con, I seen that. I definitely seen that.
There anything you want to say about that video before I get in on it?
Salakia, Salakia. She was touching on some important things like sisters want their men to die for them. Literally, sisters want their men to die for them. Meaning, like a brother, let's just say Jamal's walking down the street with his rib Keisha, and some Edomite steps to them and he has a knife. The sister is expecting Jamal to jump in front of that knife and protect him. If he dies, he dies, right? Yeah. But these sisters aren't willing to do the simplest things. It's like, let that man lead the household. Don't talk back to him when he tells you something so simple as, nah, we're not doing that. We're not celebrating Valentine's Day. We're not buying none of that stuff that we don't need, right? I'm just trying to think of examples like we're not gonna go buy that Gucci sweater. We could put that money to something else, but she's gonna give him attitude. But if the oppressor or someone walks up and is trying to harm her, she wants her head to jump in and protect her and possibly die. But these sisters ain't willing to do the simplest thing is shut your mouth and let that man lead. Like your opinion does count, but you have to know that your man is the leader, right? Like how you busting open your legs if you're to a man that you're not willing to let him lead. It just doesn't make sense. And then these sisters complain about being single and can't find a good man when they damn near chased off every good man that they ever came across.
Right. Lucky, what you're saying. How are you as a woman to give your body to a man?
Right.
You won't give him the money. Like you're straight up saying your money is more valuable than your body.
Right.
Right? Salaki, Officer Urad, anything you want to say about that video?
Oh, la. Well, God, Salak, if I could, right? I mean, like the officer was saying too. Officer Sabaji was saying. I mean, the woman when you're with a woman, they expect for you to pull up. You know what I mean? They expect you to take care of everything, like your man duties. You know what I'm saying? What you're supposed to, what man's supposed to do, and a lot of these women are hurt out there in the world because I mean they're not getting any men that are knowledgeable in the truth. I mean, to be a man, you got to be a man of God, man. First, you know what I'm saying? That's to be a man, so you can be a woman. Salaki, you can be a real partner, a real man to your woman, according to Scripture. So, and a lot of these women have been with like a lot of all these like waste men, you know what I mean? And they've been hurt, you know what I'm saying? And that's because they're not with a man that is knowledgeable, that has the wisdom, you know, of these scriptures and how to treat a woman and what a woman's supposed to, and vice versa, how she's supposed to treat a man and how she's supposed to, you know what I mean, how they're supposed to behave. But society has it where it's backwards, you know what I'm saying? So it's tough out there, man. If you don't know this truth, man. That's all, sir. That's all, Salaka. That's all I want to say.
Right, right. Most High in Christ. And Salaki, really quickly, just a shout out to the chat. Shalom, Pancho Venegas, Yabashim Ashai Brakatha. Shalom, Janice Bell. Thank you for tuning in. Shalom, Yahweh Shamar Alatha Bashim Ashai. The water for tuning in. And Khan, Slaki, what both of you guys are saying is heavy. And I brought this up to piggyback off of Proverbs 31 and 10. Like, I keep seeing more and more of these videos popping up about black women telling other black women that they got to get themselves right. And I say that because it's no secret that the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian households are in shambles, right? Like divorce rates out the roof, right? Single moms, single parents, like these are things that we suffer with in our community, and people are looking for a solution, right? You got a whole bunch of single women turning 40 years old, no kids, don't know how to get a man, don't know how to keep a man, right? A lot of these women don't know how to be virtuous. And I guarantee you, if these women were virtuous women, right, so much of the problems in our community would be solved. And that's not just to put on women, that's to put on men too, right? Proverbs 31 and 10 says, who can find a virtuous woman? Right? This was a mother talking to her son. Right? Telling him what a virtuous woman is like. If you read from verse 10 down to 31, right, you'll find out what a virtuous woman is. And these are the kinds of women that we have to look for. Right? General Mahaiman said something so heavy, was that how did he say it? General Mahaiman said these women will stop being whores when we stop loving whores. When we as men stop loving whores. Right? Proverbs 31 and 10 says, who can find a virtuous woman? Right? Where are the men? Where are the righteous men looking for virtuous women? Right? We have a part to play in this. Where are the men looking for a woman who's shamefaced? right? Who adorns herself in modest apparel. Modest apparel. I think that's Timothy 2:9. 1 Timothy 2:9. Right? Where are the men looking for a virtuous woman? She may be hard to find. But the scriptures say, don't teach our daughters to be a whore. Don't prostitute thy daughters to whoredom. Right? As men, we have a part to play. We got to protect these women. We got to seek out a virtuous woman. A woman who will close her mouth, shut her mouth, humble down to her husband, and obey him. A woman who adorns herself in modest apparel, who covers up, right, her body. If you're a man looking for a woman who's half naked, if all the men in the nation of Israel are looking for women who are half naked, right, that's how these women are going to carry themselves. Right? Like I said, I'm going to touch on Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion a bit. And the sister, her name's I think it's pronounced Chromaz. Like these sisters are getting paid millions of dollars to dress half naked. They're getting paid millions of dollars for this. Like that's got to say something about us. Right? When are the men going to check themselves? You stop paying for whores, you stop buying prostitutes. Right? If you know anything about business, if you go to start a business, you start a business that has a market. Right? If there's a market for your business is going to do well. If there's people that want to listen to and buy music, and you start selling CDs, you're going to make money. If there's a market for women dressing half naked, these women are going to dress half naked. So we as men, we got to seek out virtuous women. Right? Christ needs men that are going to follow him. Christ needs men that are going to obey him, submit themselves to him. And as we begin to do that, these sisters are going to change. Right? For her price is far above rubies. Like that virtuous woman, she's gold. She's rubies. She's one of the most valuable things on earth. Right? Salakia, Rod, can you grab me Ecclesiasticus 36? We're going to read 22 to 20. Ecclesiasticus 36 and 22. We got to find these virtuous women. We got to look for these virtuous women. Right? We got to fix these black women. Right? You got a black, Hispanic, or Native Indian man telling you to close your mouth? Yeah, you better submit to that, brother. Right? He's going to change this nation. He's going to fix our people. He's going to fix our families, right? His kids don't have to grow up without a father in the house, right? Actually, you know, they're selling drugs, they're brawling, they're drunkards, they're fighting in bars and stuff like that, right? They don't know how to find a virtuous woman. They don't know how to lead and protect a woman, right?
Yeah.
We as men, we got to do our part. We got to find virtuous women, right? We got to fix this household. Whenever you got it, Officer Urad. We're going to read from verse 22 to 24.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 36 and verse 22. And it reads, "The beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance, and a man loveth nothing better."
Right. Like, a beautiful woman in a man's eyes, like that's the greatest gift a man can have. Right? You got a sister who's beautiful, right? You love the way she carries herself. You love her humble, quiet, meek spirit. You know what I mean? That's the kind of woman you want to come home to after a hard day at work. You don't want to be like you're fighting on the job with your boss because you're 2 minutes late for work. He doesn't want to come home to you screaming at him because you're 5 minutes late past what you usually come home to. Like a beautiful woman in a man's eyes, what's it say? It cheereth the countenance. Right? You come home to a quiet, meek spirit. A woman who says, "How is your day? Can I get you anything?" He has your favorite meal prepared, or she has your favorite meal prepared for you when you get home. Right? You're beautiful in that man's eyes. So you bring cheer to his countenance. I'll read verse 23.
Verse 26. Salaki, you said read verse 26 or keep going?
Allah, verse 23.
Come on, verse 23. Ecclesiasticus 36 and 23. "If there be kindness, meekness, and comfort in her tongue, then is not her husband like other men."
Right. Keep reading.
Verse 24. "He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest."
Right. Man
Verse
comes home
25.
from a long day of work. Right. You got that nice meal waiting for him. Maybe you got a hot bath ready for him. Right. You got a UPK video ready for him when he gets home.
Right.
You know, walks through the door and his favorite tunes on. Like be that man's pillar of rest. Right. You're his possession. You're his belonging. You're his wife. Right. You gotta have that kind, meek spirit. Right. He's gonna love to come home to you. Right. You're gonna comfort that man. You're some loudmouth dragon. After he's done fighting with his boss at work, you're going straight to the bar to drink. He
Right.
doesn't want to hear your voice. He doesn't want to hear you nag him and yell at him and this and that. Ray-tay-tay after he gets in from work. Right? You gotta be his pillar of rest. The time's going a bit. Officer Zabadia, can you grab Deuteronomy 23 and 17 for me?
Kanak.
And Officer Urad, can you grab 1 Timothy 2 and 9?
Come.
Deuteronomy 20. Salaki, you said Deuteronomy
23 and 17.
Kanak. Salakia, you said something earlier like that, like some sisters don't understand what it's like for a man to come in from his slavery and get a good strong drink and just
Yeah.
zone out in a UPK video, man. Like that is so de-stressing, right?
Right.
And it charges you up and gives you the energy you need to go back outside and battle tomorrow.
Right. And Salakia, like that man's at that job, so the family can eat. So the family
Right,
has a place to live, right? He's doing it for the household.
right.
Like he's a hardworking man. He's not selfish. And he's gonna come home and you want to give him lip, right? Tear him down because he lost his job or something. That's not the kind of woman you want to be. That's not a virtuous woman. You want to be a pillar of rest. If his job's too stressful for him, tell him quit your job, right? There's somewhere I can go work and make money for us. The man doesn't just have to work. In Proverbs 31, a virtuous woman, she works. She owns land. She buys businesses, right? She's a hardworking woman, right? You got to be that brother's pillar of rest in all things. Slucky, where were we?
Salakia, I'm holding Deuteronomy 23 and 17 for you.
Okay, Khan. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 23 and 17. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a
Right,
sodomite or Salakia, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel.
right. Right. That says enough. There should be no whores of the daughters of Israel. That's in our law. We can't prostitute our daughters. We got to seek out virtuous women, right? Women who aren't running around running them up. Go ahead,
Salakia,
officer. Khan.
like to the sisters, keep those meg knees in the bedroom for your husband. You don't have to be outside twerking on in the restaurant and just twerking on everything you see. Keep that for your husband. He works hard so he can come home and see that show, not so everyone else can see it.
Right. Right. Read that verse, Officer Yerad.
So, 1 Timothy is chapter 2 and verse 9. In like manner, also, the women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and soberity, not with braided hair or gold or pearls or costly array.
Right. Like women, just cover your body up, right? And men, you got to cherish a woman who covers her body up.
Right.
Right? These are the kind of women we got to look for. So that women like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion aren't running around half naked. You seek a virtuous woman, right? That's gonna fix so many problems in our community. And women likewise, like cover your behind, with shamefacedness and sobriety, right? I'm gonna bring out one more thing, and then we'll end the class. Officer Yerad, or Officers about you, can you grab Genesis 3 and 1 for me?
Khan, Genesis 3 and 1.
Khan.
Khan,
And Select, before you go with that, I don't want to pass my time. Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B, like we can't charge these women for being that way. Like we can't put the full blame on them. I'm not saying what they're doing is right. Right? I'm not condoning what they do and how they're making their money. But like we gotta understand, like we're under so much oppression right now. I know brothers back when I was 15 years old, they're selling drugs so that they can help their mom pay bills. You know what I mean? They can help their mom pay the rent. They got other siblings in the household and they're trying to help them out. Like we can't charge these brothers and sisters for everything going on in our community. Like, we're under so much oppression right now. A lot of us, we're just trying to survive. Now, it's hard to beat Megan Thee Stallion. Like, I'm not saying I'm not holding you accountable, because what you're doing it's not a righteous thing, right? For you to take a gift or some crumbs from the oppressor and forget about your people, right? Like that's not the right way to go. And unfortunately, like, the leadership in our community is terrible, right? Yeah, your mothers and fathers telling you, do whatever you got to do to be successful, right? Go become some professional boxer so that you can get paid millions of dollars. Meanwhile, you're getting brain damage, destroying your life just so that you can get some money, right? Like all the solutions we come up with in the Black, Hispanic, Native Indian community, it's not the greatest solutions for our people. And to that, I say that I can understand why Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, they're doing the things they're doing. You know what I mean? I can understand why these rappers and stuff, they're talking about selling drugs and this and that so that they can get paid. And they're doing it because some rich devil Jewish man is telling them, you guys rap about this stuff, or to the women, you guys dress half naked, we'll pay you millions of dollars, right? We'll pay you to destroy the community, right? That's what's going on in the music industry. Khan, go ahead.
You hit that one right on the head. Like we could charge our sisters for the things they do, but you can't solely put the blame on their feet, right? Like first we have to put the blame on our oppressors, because they're the ones who have us living the way we live, right? They're the ones who taught our sisters their version of feminism. They're the ones who said, if you need this welfare, kick the man out. In return, sisters thought they didn't have to listen to men. Like, so we blame oppressors, Christianity. And after that, you got to blame the brothers as well, man. You stop loving whores, our sisters won't be whores. No sister's going to be a whore if no brother's checking for her.
Right. Right. So, like, and with that, I'm gonna end the class. We can get into more of these scriptures next Tuesday. So with that, I'm gonna pass the class to Officer Zabadia, Priest and Officer Zabadia of the I.S.U.P.K. And if you could just close out with the security announcements, and we'll end out in the prayer.
I'm gonna close out with the security announcements. One moment. I'm Officer 50 Zabadia of the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General YAHANNA. This is the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. Salakia. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is the commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3, verses 8 to 10. Ma'ashara, which means tenth in Hebrew, 10% of every 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Up and coming holy convocations. This Thursday we have Purim. It's a Memorial Day, right? That's the 14th day and the 15th day of the 12th month, which would be Thursday, February 25th, and Friday, February 26th, 2021. You can find Purim in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verses 20 to 31. Salakia. As a reminder, the Lord's 52nd annual Passover under Commanding General YAHANNA will be happening this April, which would be April 22nd to April 25th. The Thursday we have the slaughter of the lambs. The Saturday we have the 52nd annual Passover. Friday we have the pre-mansion party. The Saturday is the Passover. Sunday is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Contact your camp leader if you're zoned to get more information on the Passover. If anybody wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirts, and pants, and a headband. With that said, we're going to say the Lord's Prayer, salute out, and end the class. Men of Israel, Akwafi, I'm watching. I Majam, which means to stand. Sarapan Yah HaKodam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and then in English. The Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwavka, Saba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayam, Lathamlanawa, Lakam, Ka, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabwafnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabwafyanawa, Wala'ah, Thabayanawa, Banasayawan, Abba, Hawashaynawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wahala, Wahatha Para, La'ai Walamyam, Aman. In English, what we just read. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, for thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever so be it. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers, men of Israel. I Majum Shabbat. I Majum. Barak. Yahah Bashem Yahshai Barakatha. Yad Yamatah, which means hands down. Men of Israel, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. I Majum Shabbat. I Majum. Barak. Yahweh Shemar Alatha Ba'ashem Yahshai. Yad Yamatah, which means hands down. With that said, class dismissed. Shout out to everybody who was watching. Shout out to Marshall Gettin. Shalom. Shout out to Night Shift. Shalom to Water for tuning in. And anybody else who is watching.